All right, number 34 is Doryphorus, which means spear bearer. This is by Polycletus, and the original, Polycletus did the original. Sorry, that's confusing. I'm going to explain how this is a Roman copy. But Polycletus is the artist that created the original, and then this is from the years 450 to 440 BCE, and this is a Roman copy, and it's marble, and it is of the Greek original, which is bronze. So what I did in my note page is I made a note that Doryphorus actually means spear bearer. And we're going to talk about the whole Roman copy, marble, bronze thing, because that's kind of confusing, but we're going to talk about that in a bit, okay? All right, so to organize your note page, because I have two works of art on the same page, I want you to write, I wrote mine like up above, that this is classical, okay? So this is the epitome of classical art. And then what classical means, that is the golden age of Greek art. So write that kind of on the upper left of your note page. And then I want you to compare it to the right. The right is going to be the seated boxer, and that is a really good example of Hellenistic. So what we're going to do in the middle between them, leave that space empty, because we're going to do a comparison of classical to Hellenistic, okay? Right below that space where you're leaving it empty, kind of starting there and then going all the way down, I want you guys to draw like a division line. So we're going to take our notes on the Doryphorus on one side, and then the seated boxer is going to be on the other. All right, so we're first going to talk about the years that this piece was made, 450 to 440 BCE. So what's important to know about those years, this is when the classical era began. This sculpture marks a change in art history of how we are now depicting human figures. So we're going to do some comparison of what it looked like before, because this is very different. So this marks the beginning of the classical era. By the way, this is context. Polycletus, that's the artist, he developed a set of rules in a treatise. Like a treatise is kind of like your thesis. It's like this research that you've written together into a paper, and he put it out and he called it the canon. And that word canon is actually Greek for measure, rule, or law. So he's creating rules to depict humans. The canon uses mathematical aspects of human proportion and guidelines to achieve balance. So it's things like the body should be, however large the head is, the body should be 8 widths of that head, or however large your index finger is, then your arm should be 9 times the length of that index finger, things like that. All right, so we're going to write some of this down too for context. So we need to know this is a copy of the original. This is not Polycletus's bronze sculpture. His bronze sculpture was so favored by later artists that they all copied it into marble, which is great because bronze from the Greek era a lot of it did not survive because it was melted down to be repurposed and made into weapons, or maybe because they just melted it down. We don't really know. When this was discovered, it was found in a gym in Pompeii, and he would have been holding a spear, which is why he's called spear bearer, or Doryphorus means spear bearer. So they think he would have been like where athletes would be training, and he would be this like ideal version for them to look at. All right, function. So why did Polycletus make this? He made it to illustrate, so it illustrates Polycletus's theory from his treatise about perfection and beauty in proportions. So it's one thing to say it and put it all in writing. He actually sculpted what he was saying to prove what he was saying was right. By the way, I said this was a Roman copy. So this like tree trunk that's kind of supporting his leg, this little connector piece between the wrist and the leg, and this connector piece right there holding up the foot, that is a Roman thing. That would not have been there in the Greek bronze original. The Romans added it there for additional support so that the marble would not chip or break off. All right, form. We are going to, look at the 3 of these. It's interesting to think about the dates, right? Like the archaic Greek and the Menkaure king and queen are really far apart in date, but not far apart in style at all. Like they're really similar. All right, so how is Doryphorus a breakaway from this artistic tradition? What are you seeing that's drastically different? Bam! So we've got this new art term that we're going to be using from here on out, and this is called contrapposto. This is a stance of the human body, so a pose, a posture, where one leg bears the weight, right? So you've got, while we're looking at it, the left leg is bearing all the weight, and then the other leg is relaxed, and that's causing the tilt in the hips, tilt in the shoulders. He's looking, it makes him look more alive. It gives him this more natural look. We more so stand like Doryphorus than we do the Koros or Menkaure. Also for subject, Egypt focused on the gods and the pharaohs in the afterlife, and now that we are Greek, we are focusing on the humans. I put this, I think, on your Egyptian cover sheet. So you know, they're like, how is Greece, Hepta? You look really relaxed. And here's his voice. Yeah, I got into contrapposto over there. It's where you put all your weight on one leg. I feel really dynamic. Oh, I love his hips and shoulders aren't parallel. He looks so alive. I like that, you guys. I hope you appreciated that. All right, so this, I'm just going to read this to you guys. The right side is the bent side. So if we're looking at this, it's saying the right side is the bent arm and leg, and then the left side is the straight side, and it's talking about the arm and the leg are both straight. These oppositions are then balanced with the contrast between active and passive parts of the body. The leg to our left is active or engaged, right? This leg is actively supporting all of the weight. It is engaged. The knee is locked and is echoed across the figure with the arm supporting the spear, right? It's actually bent and holding something. The leg on our right is passive. It is not bearing weight. It is a free leg, and that is echoed by the left arm that is relaxed or passive. The balancing of the figure is further evident in the chest turned towards our right, while the head turned towards our left. The lower left shoulder is balanced by the lower right hip, right? So the hip line is kind of going this way. The shoulder line is going this way. Also, please go ahead and draw those red lines that I drew, draw those right on your sculpture. I used a pink highlighter because I had one, whatever you want to use to do those alternating crisscross angles. The lower, yep. All right, the work can thus be seen as a harmony of the opposites. So go ahead and write that for form. This is a harmony of opposites. And we're going to further describe harmony of opposites by also writing this. Harmony of opposites in that it is a balanced contrast between active and passive parts of the body. So we're not going to elaborate because I just elaborated by reading and explaining this. If you want to write additional information, these kind of say the same things. It's just more. So alternating tense and relaxed elements of the body. The left arm and the right leg are relaxed, and the right arm and the left leg are tensed. So you need to be able to explain what you're talking about. If you just say this is a harmony of opposites in an essay, you need to explain what is a harmony of opposites, what parts of the body are oppositional to each other, what is reflecting opposites. Here's another description that if you want to write it down, you can. Diagonally counterbalanced relationships between weight-bearing and relaxed legs and arms around a central axis, like the spine going down the center, and then the counterbalance going on both sides of the body. All right, content. This is showing ideal proportions and spatial relationships that express the societal values of harmony and order. The Greeks are all about harmony and order. They're kind of in control right now. They defeated the Persians. They're doing really good as a society. They've developed a lot, so they are reflecting this sense of control and order in their art. This is explaining the body using an underlying rational system. They're really into order and system, especially when we get to architecture. They're going to have the same type of order and system in the architecture that they have in depicting the human form. Oh, we have a song. Hang on a second. Okay, this guy is so important and he is such a turning point in art history that we're going to sing a song about him. If you were in class with me, you'd be singing it with me. So I want this song to be embedded in your head. I'm just going to randomly sing it at times. But for this video, I'm going to show you, I went to this training course a couple years ago to learn how to teach this class. And so the teacher of that class, Marcia, is singing it We are all singing it with her. We sound like a cult. It's totally fine. So we're going to sing this video. I'm going to sing this video. It's really embarrassing. Okay, here we go. Polyclitus, did that dude Doryphorus. He's got such perfect proportions. He's way prettier than us. He's a dude and he's a new dude. He looks real and he's ideal. Contrapposto, contrapposto, arms can move and calms his feel. Classical, classical. Okay, so then. All right, we're not going to move on to her next song. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed today's art history lesson and song. Yeah, bye.